Alright students, today we're going to be discussing 7-3, find area of trapezoids and kites. Okay? We're going to start by getting some just general information about what these mean. And you'll begin by taking notes. And the definition of a trapezoid, first of all, it's a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. A quadrilateral alright, with only one pair of opposite sides those are called the bases. Put that in parentheses, called bases. Parallel. Make that an R, parallel. Okay? A little messy there. Alright, now let's look at this trapezoid over here. And let's just document some information to show this. When you see arrow marked like this here and here, that signifies that the sides are parallel. Okay? So that's something for you to remember. And we'll just label some information on here that we'll be going back to in just a moment. Okay, let's make it so that the length of this base 1, we'll call it, base 1 is 3 centimeters. Okay, base 1 is 3 centimeters. We'll make that a little darker. Base 1, 3 centimeters. Okay, now let's look underneath here. We're going to label a dotted line down through here and put a right angle here. Inside, the height of this will be 4 centimeters. This one little area right here down here we'll label 1 centimeter. But then this entire thing, length of base 2 we'll call it, that will be 5 centimeters. Okay? Keep that in mind for solving a problem in just a few moments. Now we're going to go with types of trapezoids. And the first one we're just going to call a regular old trapezoid. Okay? And the reason for that is, I'm going to draw my arrows here. These sides are parallel, so it has one set of parallel lines. Okay? Let's look at the next one. This one we are going to call an isosceles trapezoid, and I'll show you why. Isosceles trapezoid. Okay? And let's look up here. The reason it's an isosceles trapezoid, first of all, we need to mark that these opposite sides are parallel. Alright? And if I were to draw diagonal lines from here and from here, what happens is that we end up with these two triangles being equivalent or the same measure. Okay? And these, they're proportional but not the same. I'm going to draw an arc here and an arc here. Now this signifies that those angles, let's see here, and I'll put one arc here. These have the same measure. I'll put 2 arcs here and 2 here. It means these bottom angles have the same measure. The other important thing about an isosceles trapezoid is, and I'll put a line out this way and a line out this way. When you see one mark on there and one mark on here, it means that those sides also have the same measure. Alright, let's move on to this last one. And this one, if I put a box in here and box in here, I'm signifying that both of these angles are right angles. These arrows signify that the sides are parallel, and this is known as a right trapezoid. because it has two right angles. Alright, now we're going to go on down to right here, and I'm going to make a little box. And inside this box, we are going to practice finding the area of this trapezoid up here. Okay? Let's go to here and make this box. We're going to talk first about cutting down this formula to the easiest one to remember possible. The area of a trapezoid is equal to 1/2, right, times the height times the quantity of base 1 plus base 2. Now, when we shorten that to just a formula with letters and numbers, we have A equals 1/2 H, parentheses here for multiplying, B1 plus B2, okay? And some people look at it a different way. They say, or A equals, and you'll get the same thing here. We're going to make a fraction bar, okay? H, parentheses, B1 plus B2 on the top, and on the bottom divide by 2, because when you multiply 1 by 1/2, it means the same as dividing by 2. Now we're going to solve it. Okay, we're going to go back to this information right here. Okay, and let's substitute in. A equals 1/2 times the height, which is 4, parentheses, times the quantity of base 1 plus base 2, which is 3 plus 5. Then we work it out. A equals 1/2 times 4 times 3 plus 5 is 8. Okay. A equals 1/2 times 4 is 2 times 8 is 16. So we just multiply across, okay? 16 centimeters squared. And that's how you find area of a trapezoid. Now let's go on down to kite, okay? And we're going to go over the definition of a kite. So looking over here at this kite, okay, let's talk about what it has in common by first doing the definition. It's also a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides. So a quadrilateral, okay, with 2 pairs of congruent. Congruent, guys, congruent means same measure. I'm going to put in parentheses the symbol for congruence. It's an equal bar with a little similar sign above it. Okay. Consecutive sides. Let's take a look at that. First of all, a quadrilateral with 2 pairs of congruent consecutive sides. What that means is this. This right here and this right here have congruent measures. They have the same measures. And so I'll put a 1 mark here and a 1 mark here. These 2 sides, these have the same measure. So I'll put 2 marks here and 2 marks here to show that they have the same measure. Okay? Now when we do this, let's continue. It has perpendicular diagonals. I'll put comma then now because we're continuing. Perpendicular diagonals. We'll look at what that means. Diagonals, comma. Now what that means is this. You have this line this way and this line this way. these form a right angle all the way around, okay? So that makes them perpendicular. When you form 90-degree angles, which are right angles, you get perpendicular diagonals, okay? And then the last part, and it has and only one pair of opposite angles are congruent. Okay? Now, what that means is this. This angle here has the same measure as this angle here. All right? And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about a formula and solve some things. But let's go up here to my kite and let's label some measurements, okay? So if this one was 2 centimeters, this distance right here, and this distance from here to here is 12 centimeters. All right? Keep that in mind. And then from here to here is 4 centimeters. And from here to here is 4 centimeters. Okay? Now that builds up to some more details. What that means is this, all right? That means from here to here, the whole length of this, which we'll call the distance, or D1, of this whole thing is 2 plus 12, which is 24 centimeters. Okay? And then the height this way, or distance, or D2, we'll label it from here down to here. 4 plus 4 is 8 centimeters. So this one is 8 centimeters. Now let's keep that in mind when we get to the formula. Okay? So we're going to make a new box right here. And inside it, we'll adjust the blurriness. Okay. Over here. And here. Now let's talk about formula again, okay? So, in this one, area for the kite. Area equals 1/2 times distance 1 times distance 2. And that means area, or A, I should have written A there, equals 1/2 D1 times D2, or we'll just put the A there. A equals 1/2 D1 D2, or if you're multiplying by 1/2, that also means divide by 2. A equals D1 times D2 divide by 2. Alright, now let's work this one out. So area equals 1/2 times D1, we'll say is 24 centimeters. Okay. Times D2, which is 8 centimeters. So that means A equals 1/2 of 24 is 12. 12 times 8. And area equals to 12 times 8, which is 96 centimeters squared.